A couple other things we have is the out of range type, and this is essentially the same as working with animation curves. So for instance, if I had like a teapot here and I wanted to animate it, let's say jumping up and then coming back down really quick. This is going to look a little bit funky, but here we go. Now what I could do is I'll shift my animation keys maybe 5 frames, so that way it has a bit of pre-roll before it, or more of a settle time before it starts. If I go to my curve editor, I can go down to my XYZ, and as we can see we just have one curve. Now we have a ping pong for this, or ping pong being one of the animation types. We have a lot of different ways that we can treat this animation. So if we go to controller, we have out of range types, which is exactly the same as Fume Effects. Here we can say constant, or we can say cycle. So that way it's going to start again. We can say in and out to this, and that means it's going to start again for that. So if this never came back down, it's going to look a bit weird because it's going to continue to start from the beginning. There's no settle time. But we could say loop, which again pretty similar, but then other things like ping pong or relative. Relative is interesting because it'll keep getting the values and adding to them. So in other words, it's going to continue to do what it's doing. And ping pong, which will go back and forth, which is the more of what I want to talk about. So it kind of reverses the values back down and then forward again. So this is exactly how we can read the cache. We can get this to say, okay, well before it, do nothing or hang on the start frame, which means if this was to start later on, it would have the initial start frame there. So imagine if you had like a fog bank, like a big cloud of fog, or even a cloud or something like that, and then you want to have a simulation of an object flying through that cloud, okay, and stirring it up. You might want to simulate like 1,000 frames pre-roll to get to that one area where it then interacts. So you might tell us to stay at the start frame. And what I'll do first of all is I'm just going to run a simulation so we can actually take a look at this. What this is, I just did a quick sim. I'm going to give you guys this file. It's called Flame Burst 1, and all it is just a quick burst of flame that shoots up and dissipates as it rolls around, which is something that if you added a lot more detail to, it could actually be a pretty interesting effect to apply in production. So this is just a quick version of it where it says some fire kind of quickly bursting up into the air. Now I'll let that simulate to maybe frame 45. Alright, so now we have this flame burst effect. Now what I could do is tell us to play the start frame. There isn't actually anything at the start frame, so it's not too big a deal, but if I were to offset the timing, at least you'd be aware that it's loading the initial start frame. Same thing if I wanted, and this will make a lot more sense, if I go to the end frame and I tell that to hold the end frame. It means that if this starts and plays, if this were to end prematurely, it would stay on this frame or whatever it is until the end of the entire shot. What's more interesting though is we could say at the very end ping pong. We don't need to do it from the beginning because it's starting at the beginning, but we could tell this to play the animation once, and then we could have it play again and again and again. Now the interesting thing is that if I play this right now, it's going to play once and it's going to say, well, there's nothing more to go on. That's because it can't find any more frames to read. And this might seem buggy, but this is pretty intelligent because you're saying that I want to play 0 to 100. So it gets to frame 46 and it's like, hey, well, where are you? You can't find it. And so we need to tell it here when to stop playing. So if we load up my cache, I can see that I've simulated to frame 45. So in here, if I set this to frame 45, then we can see that, and if I adjust this to play for like 1,000 frames, we'll literally see this play and then play backwards, play and play backwards. So suddenly we're getting this fire that shoots out and then it comes back in reverse. And again, if I wanted to, I could hold down Shift, copy it, and then set this to have an offset of maybe 20 frames. Again, I'll display the container. I'm just doing this purely to kind of get my point across, but ultimately what I'm doing is I'm going to display these two effects, and as we can see there's an offset of 20 frames. So suddenly I have these two fireballs blasting out and reversing and blasting and reversing for 1,000 frames continuously. Now where this could be interesting is rather than ping pong, because ping pong is a bit of a weird one to use, but I could tell this to instead loop through the cache. So we could say cycle, and do the same thing for this one as well. Now it's only 2, but if I had like 5 of these, suddenly I'm going to have like 5 fireballs continuously blowing out. If I added some other flame elements in there, suddenly I've got this like pretty cool looking effect of fire and these plumes and stuff going off. And the thing is that this is going for 1,000 frames, but I've only simulated 45 frames. So rather than having to simulate 1,000 frames, which is a lot, I can add all these elements in and continuously add them in and have them loop. So rather than, again, having 100 different containers and manually setting the offset, this is a way that I can get it to do that automatically. And keep in mind lastly that even if I simulate 100 frames, I could tell this only to use 10 frames, and it will. So you can see it's only using 10 frames. So I could tell this to use frame 20 to frame 50, and it's literally going to, well, 45, and it's just going to use that last bit that I tell it to. So this is cool because it gives us more and more control. You're not going to use this every single day, but having this additional control can be very useful for what you're doing. Same thing before, if this was to start at frame 50, I might want this to cycle before frame 50. And I can tell it to last on the end frame, tell it to start frame 0 to that, and the end frame to be frame 20. Suddenly at frame 20 it's going to hover. I can make my end frame frame 30 or whatever I want it to be. Okay, so that's just again additional controls we can have for that.